What was that?
Perfect.
You want to be that guy? Good Monday. Good Monday.
Wow.
April.
Good morning, Monday.
Good morning, April.
Hey there. So I hope everyone didn't fall for any April Fool's jokes. That's real embarrassing if you did. You should look in the mirror and say, why are you like this, bud? Stop it. You know what day it is. I'm the Data Lord. This is Jaime. Welcome to Centralized TV. This is Crypto and Coffee. We talk about crypto and drink about coffee, and hope you're ready for this. So
It's quite an eventful
let's
month.
do it. Let's do it.
We had a monthly close also, so there's quite a bit of definition out there.
Oh, you know. What's up? Good morning, Gundy. I see you, brother. I see you. Good morning, Crypto Nation. We out here.
Our Tamp.
And,
good morning.
The lovely and intelligent Tamp. Giving love to the boys. What's up, Indo? I see you, boy. You know, ready for another week to knock out. I feel that way too, man. I feel like every week I'm getting put in the boxing ring and I'm getting put up against Hitmonchan.
Okay.
And Hitmon Lee, of course. What's up,
Good
boss?
morning, Boss Don.
I assume just boss. He's right behind you. Anyways, let's get into the market, shall we? What the heck happened, man? What the heck happened? Well, it has been pretty calm. In the 7-day, that's the only place we've really seen some big movement. XRP is up 13.6%. I think that's still people anticipating XRP getting a favorable ruling. And even if they don't get a favorable ruling initially, it'll get kicked up to a higher court. And I think people are pretty confident they'll win. Cardano, they've had a lot of upgrades recently. Their stable coin popped up. And so that's why that price action is reflecting that way. Plus, they're paying a lot of people to make articles that are trying to pump it.
And they're Me Too upgrades. Not leadership upgrades. They're Me Too upgrades. Oh, I can do.
Power to the paper. Dogecoin is pumping a little bit because it wants to. There's no reason for Dogecoin pumping ever. I'm just kidding. It's actually because of Burger King. Burger King of all places. We covered that in a recent episode of DCTV. But yeah, Burger King's thinking about maybe taking Dogecoin, which would be the only good thing about Burger King is their food belongs in the trash.
Hey, it's Kings, according to them.
Yeah, but give you a Whopper dump on your plate. Yeah.
By the way, did you hear that McDonald's headquarters right now is closed from Monday to Wednesday because there's a rumor that there's massive layoffs. So the clown one is going down. That's usually where all us coiners go to when we need a job while this pumps moons.
Yeah, that's what they say. McDonald's. So if you would, Jaime, tell us what's going on with Bitcoin, because you said we had some macro events.
Of course. Yes. So we had the monthly close. Let me bring that bad boy up there.
Whip it out.
Whoopah. So this is the grand view of entire Bitcoin's history. And just so everyone is aware, Bitcoin is where it needs to be overall. So even if it takes a dump all the way back down to this base to test it as support, that base is still sitting at $19,500. So if you see it pull back, don't worry. Remember the median historically, Bitcoin will either diverge quite a bit from it, but always snap back to where it needs to be down the road. So it follows that median. It came down pretty much on point, and now it's rising slightly above it. So if it comes down below it, don't worry. It's where it needs to be. So overall, the macro is we're in the gray zone where usually it shows where it finds a bottom before the halving point and then the bull run. The halving point is scheduled to occur around March of 2024. So we are on schedule, boys and girls. Now let's move on to the monthly, because that closed while we were away this weekend. Look at where it closed. Right at resistance. And this resistance, let me remind you, is a very, very heavy resistance. If we move this up to the annual chart, you will see that historically, we tested a support back in 21, broke through it with a bearish engulfing, and now we're testing it as resistance as of this year. And where we're at, we closed right here at this point. Now let's come back to the monthly, the normal month. So that's why you can see, let's do the 6 months real quick, just so you can see how it has worked in the past. That red line, we broke through it way back in 20 and took off from it, came back down to this level. In 2021, we went all the way up to our famous 65 plus thousand and finally broke down through it. This is the first time we're testing it as resistance. So we should expect a pullback to regain steam and then smash right through it when the timing is correct. So let's get to the monthly now. And that's what we're seeing at this moment. It looks as if, and remember, this just closed this weekend, so this means nothing to us. We need to see if it breaks through to rush up to the 21 moving average, or will it pull back and maybe regain steam at 24,750 to test it as support or confirm the 50 moving monthly average as support. So 24,700 more or less, or smash right through it. I believe we may pull back to regain steam and smash right through it where it needs to go. Now, let's move on down to the weekly. The weekly, the massive resistance is, the top of this resistance is right up here where we tested it as resistance back in the past. It was support, and this is confirmation of how hard this ceiling where we're at is. Let's zoom in on the 3-day. Here we are. And this is the one we've been watching for since January, more or less, January 20th. We've seen this rising channel with bearish divergences as we rise above. And last week has been no different. Now, we rallied up from the 50 weekly moving average to this cinder block ceiling, and snap through it, push through it. Now there should be a healthy pullback, just enough so we can smash right up to it. FTX breakdown is still sitting at 21,300, which now should be confirmed as support. And we may meet this moving average, worst case scenario, a wick down here around 21,300, 20,700 area. How soon? We don't know just yet, but it would be healthy for it to pull back like we've always done the illustration. We pull back and then smash right through it. That's what we're waiting for. Yes.
That Bruce Lee.
So if it pulls back, guys, don't worry. It needs some strength. You got to change the fist. If you broke through the small one, you hit the second one next. And that's what we should see soon.
Cross and jab, baby.
That's it. So stay frosty. These are your opportunities to dollar cost average, and we will see where it takes us. But Bitcoin is showing strength and seeing all of these global events going on where the dollar, BRICS is real. We're seeing rumors also that the banks are not done failing. Yeah. But we also have the Fed creating this new quantitative easing with a new label on it, which is loans forever just for the banks, all the good old boys out there. So we will see how this turns out. But Bitcoin is doing its job.
She is. She's so elegant. She does what she wants to do when she wants to do it, you know. And for anyone who doesn't know, BRICS is basically a group of countries, including China and Russia, who are grabbing a bunch of gold to back a coin that's a multi-sovereign coin. So it'll be a currency that is backed by gold, and that's sort of a shot at the U.S. dollar for not being backed by anything but the violence of the U.S. government. It's kind of the reality of it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We live in Clown Town. Don't we?
Hell yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Look, Indo saying JV's ready for that BTC sauce.
At your service.
Burger King is trash with show. What a burger. In-N-Out is where it's at. Of course, Chicky Philly.
Yeah.
Burger King's fish sandwich is banging. Man, I tried to like that stuff. It's too much bread. Yeah. So anyways, let's get into the news here. So actually, man, I'm always picking the right news for you. I'm always picking the stuff that I think is actually worth talking about, not just stuff that is popular. So, let's get into a little bit of Bitcoin upgrade capacity stuff, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So our first article here is by Bitcoin Magazine. With the RGB, the Bitcoin Lightning Network can now transfer altcoin assets. So here's why this is a big deal. Bitcoin is getting all these upgrades recently. We've really started to see the functionality that's been tested on, shitcoins being implemented in a healthy way on Bitcoin and Lightning Network. And so this is useful because Bitcoin's the most secure network on the planet. And so if we can use the most secure network on the planet to do some of the things we were doing with these, cheaper, less secure platforms, we have a good use case here. So, we have ordinals that have NFT functionality on Bitcoin, and now we have the, basically ERC20 tokens equivalent on Bitcoin. So let's read this. The Lightning Network is arguably the most impactful and important innovation ever seen in Bitcoin. It enables fast and cheap transactions that take up no space on the blockchain while preserving all of Bitcoin's censorship-resistant and trustless features. While Lightning still has space to grow and improve, both in terms of technological stability and adoption, it has already proven to be an irreplaceable solution for cheap, trustless payments with more than $100 million in network capacity and an ever-growing number of businesses adopting it as a payment method. Such innovations favor the Bitcoin adoption, but they can also be beneficial for other types of digital assets. Currently, most blockchain-based digital assets are issued as altcoins, but do not offer the same guarantees of censorship and security or censorship resistance and security as Bitcoin does, as they aim to achieve cheap, low latency transactions by sacrificing decentralization, meaning they operate as a de facto semi-centralized system. And we're seeing this on a lot of blockchains where they have some part of it that really is kind of centralized, and then they have like a ledger that is decentralized. But with the ability to move digital assets over the Lightning Network, many use cases that require cheap and fast transactions could finally be able to benefit from Bitcoin's trustlessness as well. So this is actually a pretty big deal here for Bitcoin's price too. One already popular use case that would certainly benefit from that would be stable coins. Unlike the USDT, are already widely used for digital payments and remittances, especially in developing countries with legal financial infrastructures not always functional and local currencies are volatile. With Lightning, more and more people could adopt stablecoins and use them for payments. This would be beneficial in improving the stability or the financial stability of people, otherwise forced to use a local currency that's even more unstable than the US dollar. Well, we'll see about that in the times to come.
There's a whole argument that it may strengthen the dollar. This BRICS move. We'll see, guys. So
yeah, we'll find out. While I'm sorry, I have to laugh while in the foxhole. While also bringing them one step closer to adopting Bitcoin as they become familiar with its technology, even while they're still not comfortable with its volatility. Also, additional digital assets on Lightning Network would not only benefit from the diffusion of stable coins and tokenization of other use cases, but they would simultaneously help Bitcoin itself as more technology compatible infrastructure would be built. And this is the inter-blockchain thing we're talking about, having like lots of different blockchains that can kind of interoperate makes it so that you don't have to have enormous trust in one and go all in on it. Instead, you can maybe say this blockchain's more useful for this use case and this one's better for this use case, and we can build a middleware that kind of plays ball with both of them. So as more technologically compatible infrastructures would be built, the payment terminal accepting stablecoins on Lightning would be very easily also, or accept Bitcoin. That's what? That's okay. I don't know. But let's just look how it works though, real quick here. So clearly you can see, you can make a smart contract, you kick it over to the owner. It gets spent properly. That's how Lightning works. It basically allows, like, if I'm working for Jaime, I'm able to get paid a little bit as time goes on, and so it's a live payment. But at a certain time period, it'll actually commit itself to the primary Bitcoin network, and so we only actually have one commit on the Bitcoin network, but we have a live, constant, fast commit on the Lightning network, and that's how Lightning Network is able to expand Bitcoin's capacity. So
Yes, and Bitcoin is fulfilling its purpose, which is the consensus through
Yeah.
proof of work, which is the most secure way to reach consensus currently.
Right. Yep. So it's beautiful as far as like long term history goes. So, I won't go super deep into this because this gets into like some engineering stuff, but you can clearly see that like people can stuff their assets directly into Lightning Network and be able to pull them back out and realize them. And kind of in line with that too, we had this DEX, decentralized exchange called PancakeSwap. It's popular. A lot of people love it. It's built on Binance Coin, as we've come to know. That's a shot at myself, by the way. It's okay. So PancakeSwap DEX launches version 3 on BNB and Ethereum. So version 3 brings 4 different trading fee tiers, 0.01%, 0.05%, 0.25%, and 1%, compared with the V2's single layer 0.25%. So this is huge. We're going to have way less fees on Pancake doing this. So
But I'm sure they're part new world order in the makings.
yeah, we'll see. They sure want one. Also, I like pancakes, so let's read the news. So PancakeSwap, a decentralized exchange DEX with over 1.5 million unique users, introduced version 3 on Ethereum and BNB chain on Monday. The upgrade platform will offer the cheapest fees for on-chain trades among counterparts such as SushiSwap and Uniswap, and increased returns for liquidity providers. And liquidity providers is kind of like staking, but instead of you not being able to spend your money, and that's how it's validating transactions, liquidity providers, basically you put your money up, it can be loaned out for the liquidity necessary for trading, and you get paid part of the fees structure for that too. So just so you know, the exchange's developers told CoinDesk on Sunday PancakeSwap v3 also introduces features that enhance the platform's capital efficiency. These include allowing liquidity providers to concentrate their capital on smaller price ranges, a feature that results in higher fee earnings from the same amount of deposits, the developer said. Version 3 will introduce 4 different trading fee tiers. And I already said I'm not going to read that again. Version 2 offered a single tier of 0.25. Each token pair can have a liquidity pool for each fee tier. Huh? That's cool. With asset pairs gravitating toward the tier where incentives for both liquidity providers and traders are most rewarding. This approach is designed to ensure balance between traders paying the lowest fee tier while still incentivizing the highest possible liquidity from liquidity providers. Jaime, any comments there?
Yeah. So in other words, it separates, it groups all the ones entering, the ones who want to pay less, but of course they won't be. The transaction may not occur. The liquidity providers may not release as much for that tier as they would for the higher tier, but those that aren't in a rush and just want to make it happen in their own due time, that's where they'll put it. And then as liquidity is provided to that
Right.
tier, the cheaper tier, they'll get their orders filled. But if you're in a rush, people are going to jump on the more expensive, but that's their choice now. It's not like they're set at one, and the liquidity providers are stuck
Right.
with just 0.25. Now they can provide liquidity wherever they see fit.
Yeah, if it's not an expedient matter, it's time sensitive.
Mhm.
It's kind of like with Ethereum, you can choose to pay less gas fees, and then you just wait. Like
That's right.
maybe it'll go through. I don't know. And when NFT uses were at their highest, this was nuts, dude. Like gas fees were crazy. People were
Yeah,
paying
I
like
remember.
$70 just to mint a coin, like or just to mint an NFT. It was really not good. It was crap, actually, absolute trash. So anyways, in the future, PancakeSwap version 3 will introduce 2 new features, a V3 VIP trading rewards program and a position manager feature. The VIP program is a tiered system that rewards traders for their trading volume with exclusive benefits, such as a chance to get up to 5% trading fee rebate, which may incentivize more platform activity and improve PancakeSwap's revenue.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind getting 5% trading fee rebate. Cool.
And yeah. Woo.
Jaime, you were saying something. You stop.
No, it was so another thing where they would go lower fees is if it's
Yep.
a large block of
Oh, sure.
transaction where it would make
Mhm.
up the a liquidity provider would make their revenue as they need to
Mhm.
because it's a block fee. It's like a wholesale price.
Yep,
So
and you end up making more money in a short time frame, so why not?
it balances the power.
Yeah, so this is big deal. I hope people who are looking at not trading their coins, but instead being a liquidity provider are going to make some good money on this. Because I really think this decentralized exchange thing is what we need bad.
Yeah,
People need to start
Dex.
using these more and more.
A-
Yeah,
And what that means is you don't lose custody of your tokens
right.
or Bitcoin. You send it to trade, it does a transaction and returns what you were trading for. Not You're not releasing the control of your value with a DEX as you do a centralized exchange, where you send it, do your transaction, then transfer it back out.
Whoopah! What's up, Codebug? I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, brother.
Good
Insert
morning,
favorite food
Thugbug.
swap. Yeah, I prefer a chicken sandwich swap personally, but who am I? What do I know? Our next article here is about people getting pwned. Let's talk about that. We love a good pwning, don't we? Pwnography, you know, just watching people get pwned in different ways. So Ethereum MEV bot loses over $25 million in a sophisticated attack. Ouch. Let's talk about that, huh?
Yeah.
So, a sophisticated exploit led to a loss of over $25 million for a group of blockchain bots working to generate revenue through a process called maximal extractable value. So, MEV, maximal extractable value. I wonder why maximal versus maximum. Let's find out.
Yeah.
MEV bots operate like a blockchain based high frequency trader. They focus on using speed and the technicalities of how blockchains work to capture arbitrage opportunities. Okay. So it's just a wicked vast trading bot. But to do so, they often have to put large amounts of money at risk in order to manipulate prices to sufficient levels. What is this? An attacker compromised some of the MEV bots on April 3rd. Should have been April 1st. That would have been funny. By substituting their regular transactions with malicious ones, resulting in thefts of their funds. In doing so, the attacker inflicted substantial losses on the MEV bots. Wow. Joseph Plaza, decentralized finance trader at Wintermute, explained that the exploiter likely set bait transactions to lure MEV bots. Oh, how cool. So because they knew the MEV bots were doing this, he was like,
Yep.
look, if you're going to exploit that, I'm going to exploit that you're exploiting that. Gotcha.
Yep. Nice.
That's so
So
funny.
it's kind of like those ghost bids and ghost sales that appear on centralized exchanges. He actually created so they see the transaction like, okay, I'm gonna try to front run this, and it was a bait, so it would disappear and appear above, and so
Yeah.
now the bot raced up or down wherever Joseph Plaza.
It's like To Catch a Predator, but with traders and manipulation.
Nice, nice.
What are you doing here? So anyways, in doing so, the attacker inflicted substantial losses on MEV bots. So Joseph Plaza, decentralized finance trader at Wintermute, likely set bait
Mhm.
transactions to lure the MEV bots. The attacker then replaced the initial baiting transactions with new malicious ones, allowing them to steal the funds. To prepare the attack, the perpetrator deposited 32 ETH, which is how much you need for a validator to
Yep.
become a validator, 18 days before the incident. So Plaza added that the attacker probably waited until it was their turn to propose a block as a validator, which coincided with the attack. They subsequently reorganized the contents of the block and created a new one containing the malicious transactions in order to drain the assets. This is super sophisticated, actually. Smart contract developer 3155.eth okay, initially revealed the incident on Twitter. PeckShield subsequently traced the stolen assets to 3 Ethereum addresses, consolidated from 8 other addresses. This is super sophisticated.
Yeah.
Flashbots, the developer of the primary MEV software used on Ethereum, known as MEV Boost, has responded with a fix to prevent such incidents from occurring in the future. The team has introduced a feature that instructs relayers, a trusted mediator party between block builders and validators, to push a signed block before transmitting its contents to a proposer, a step that was previously absent. This action aims to decrease the likelihood of a malicious proposer with an MEV boost proposing a block that deviates from what they received from a relay. So this doesn't even affect people who aren't using high-speed trader bots. If you're using high-speed trader bots, I mean, you're playing a different game, my guy. Like, yeah, you're playing high risk, high reward, right? Like, you're
Yep.
accepting that when you're saying automation go boop, and then it's just whipping your money back and forth. Like, I whip
You
my
do
money back and
dumb
forth.
things faster now.
Yeah, that's right. Uh, the non-existent rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated. Been busy on the grind. Well,
We've
you
been
know.
in there.
Either way, love you. Glad to see you, brother. So I hope no one's afraid of this. If you have any comments about this attack and whatnot, let us know in the comments on YouTube. We'd love to talk that over. So, yeah, I don't think this is FUD for anybody. It's simply interesting to see how people can really.
Once you understand the programming and how it works, now you set up the stage to counter it. And by the time the others realize, because they haven't patched their work or tested it,
Right.
boom, that's how you get evolution in the technology. So it's necessary pain.
Yeah, let's talk about the headline of the day, shall we? Because I know look, I'm spicy. That's how it is. I'm spicy now. The U.S. government to liquidate over $1.175 billion
Yes.
in seized Bitcoin from the Silk Road hackers. And here's the timeline. Yeah.
It's one hacker specifically out of Miami. Do you remember that news article? He got arrested, and of course they got his keys. They caught him with his pants down, literally, or his cold storage down, and boom. Now they're auctioning this off.
Well, and let's read the news.
Mm-hmm.
Let's read the news. And the U.S. government is planning to sell more than $1.7 billion in Bitcoin. That's the most valuable thing the U.S. has. What are they thinking? That's a joke. It's true though. That was seized as part of the Silk
True
Road
joke.
illicit market. True joke. Marketplace case. Composure. According to a new federal court filing, the government is planning to sell the remainder of the approximately. Listen to this number. 51,351 Bitcoin.
Yep.
Hold that. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Bitcoin seized from hacker James Zong, who authorities accused of stealing the virtual assets from Silk Road in 2012.
When it wasn't worth much at the time. So it was cheap when he got it, but he held on. He was a hodler.
And that's why you hodl, my guy. Per the filing, the government has already sold about 9,861 BTC of the total amount seized for more than $215 million on March 14th, leaving about 41,491 Bitcoin. At Bitcoin's current value of 28,000 or so, the sale of the remaining BTC would have a value of $1.75 billion. And we're in a bear market, dude. Don't sell now. What do you think? And my guess is they're going to sell it and buy back or something. That way it's not traced as these coins, but
and with what's going on overall with the banks and everything, I think they're trying to crash it. And that was part of the conversation we had with Nemesis, where he says, they don't use exchanges usually. Well, we have an update on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, indeed we do. The filing was the U.S. District Court of Southern District of New York. It's always New York, dude. They're always hands in the cookie jar, and pertains to the sequence or sentencing of Zong. The government says it will not sell the remainder of the BTC until after Zong is sentenced, which is scheduled for April 14th. Could have been 420. You guys lost a funny date. With respect to 51,000 and change Bitcoin forfeited in the Obrecht case before Judge Schofield, the government has begun liquidating and selling it. On March 14th, 2023, the government sold, and we covered this part, 9,861 Bitcoin of the 51,330 or 51 Bitcoin for a total of $215 million.
About quarter billion, guys.
$250 million. After the $250 million, I'm sorry, after the CEO's salary and transaction fees, $215,000 in transaction fees. The net proceeds to the government were 215,000 or
Not billion.
There's a comma.
I mean,
there's a comma. $215 million.
My apologies.
Yeah, it's a lot of money though. Either way, of the Bitcoin forfeited in the Ilbert case, there remains approximately 41,490 Bitcoin. What are you going to do with that? Let's find out. Which the government understands is expected to be liquidated in 4 more batches over the course of this calendar year. I see what you're doing. You're waiting until you need to whale on Bitcoin, and you're conveniently timing it in order to influence the price up or down. I see what you're doing. Wonderful. And of course, it's not Friday. I can't be doing conspiracies, but I am attributing motive, which is a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy if you don't attribute motive, by the way.
But come now. I mean, they even forbade Signature Bank and a few others from keeping the crypto line of business open to save them from death. So it's not a conspiracy. It's a clear act.
Come on. Well, it is a conspiracy to say that they're waiting for opportune times to sell. To influence price. That is attributing motive. I won't linger on that. I won't linger. The government understands that IRS criminal investigation, asset recovery, and investigative services. I hope we don't see that more often than the news. I sure hope we don't. I think we will. That the second round of liquidation will not be sold prior to Zong's sentencing date. Okay. Silk Road was a former darknet black market in operation from approximately 2011 2011 year and 2013. The site was often associated with illegal activities such as money laundering and drug running, and there was also non-illegal activities on there. They never covered that. Zong was accused of tricking the site's payment processing system using a fake account and rapid deposits, and then withdrawals of larger amounts to steal the Bitcoin. So I'll read that again. Zong was accused of tricking the site's payment processing system. Does that sound similar to you? Maybe what we were just covering? Using fake accounts and rapid deposits, and then withdrawals of larger amounts to steal the Bitcoin. So we've seen this exact attack multiple times. We even covered it on Friday. Basically, anytime you can very quickly have buys and sells, if you do it quick enough, you can confuse the system and make it come out on your side. So
he did.
Yeah. And that's why, like, ideally, if transaction fees are expensive, you're not pulling that kind of stunt, right? That only happens if transaction fees are really, really cheap. So there is a benefit to high transaction fees in security, interestingly enough, because low transaction fees, it's kind of like, you know how Twitter had a lot of crazy bots that were just like putting trash all over the place. And now all Elon did was like, hey, you spend a little bit of money and you'll be verified. And people are like, okay, sure. The bots like plummeted. There's like way fewer bots. It's noticeable. So yeah. Sure, conspiracy. True, Tamp. No idea why you don't. Conspiracy. Yeah, and Tamp says, I need mod credentials. How do I not have these? Well, Tamp, that can be accomplished, dear. That can be accomplished.
So meanwhile, let me bring this, which is related to precisely this article, and Nemesis brought this up. He said, historically, the government has always auctioned off. They do not use exchanges for getting rid of Bitcoin. And usually the logic behind it is when you do an auction, it does not affect Bitcoin price because it's peer-to-peer, or whoever does the auction and whoever does the buying, it's not in the open market. You agree upon a price. Well, it says that this article here, Crypto Briefing, says it's highly likely that the government used Coinbase to sell its 9,861 Bitcoin. On-chain analysts noticed at the beginning of March that wallets associated with the seized Silk Road funds had moved approximately 49,000 BTC to various fresh addresses.
Right.
One of these addresses was identified as belonging to the crypto exchange Coinbase. It received, look at the amount, 9,825 Bitcoin on March 7th. And here's what Nemesis was saying, and this was our statement on Friday, is they've never used an exchange, but now when they used it, the Department of Justice use of Coinbase is atypical, which is what Nemesis said, as the government has historically preferred liquidating seized digital assets through public auctions. So, what is usually the effect of Bitcoin when it uses a centralized exchange? It affects market price. So, you can see an attempt to influence. And in this case, it was a sale. But it seems a counterparty was on the other side who purchased it all. And according to the article, they succeeded in the sale without tanking Bitcoin. But they keep announcing on the previous article that April 14th, then restrictions are off. They say they're going to break it up into multiple, who knows, maybe they'll dump it all at one place. But what they're doing is using exchange in this instance. So there may be an attempt to influence Bitcoin's price by
Maybe.
doing that.
Yeah, there might be. Maybe. Could be.
Mhm.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
It's getting real, guys.
Anyways, I want to say what's up to everybody too. Indo saying, hold up. Yeah, that just got, they must have gotten tipped off about this exploit. Yeah. I think more than half of these so-called hacks are just
Yes.
insider knowledge. Yeah, it really seems that way.
Mhm.
What's up, Just
Good
Bossy?
morning,
I
Just
see you,
Bossy.
girl. Crypto Scout, boy, true and faithful. I
Welcome.
see you. What's up, brother? And then Tamp. This is her inaugural ceremony. She said, I need mod credentials. How do I not have these? Well, she is officially now, as you can see in the YouTubes, she has a wrench. She's now a lady moderator. I dub thee. Highly
She
honored.
can wrench you.
Yeah.
Do something dumb. I dare you.
Yeah, maybe you're gonna have to do something with this soon. A little. Oh, look at that! Oh, you got some hollow foil situation.
Nice.
We fancy now. We fancy. So, I think Jaime's right on the money with this. That like we have multiple articles that, because we're super in this all the time, we're noticing the correlations between them. We're like, this all feels related. Why does not feel
Yes.
related? It's because
It is. It
It's
is,
related.
guys. Just
So
look up Choke Point 2.0, guys, and you'll see how it's all related.
be sure you do that on Google, though. There's other search engines which might come up with other things if you look up choke point. So
True. Twitter
be fair.
too. Use Twitter.
You just want to be careful, bud. Just be careful out there. Real dangerous days we live in. So I want us to talk about this because even though this is an opinion article, I think that this is a conversation we need to have. So
it's inevitable, guys.
How do we? So CBDCs, for those who don't know, are central bank digital currencies. So basically, the U.S. dollar, for example, as a ERC20 token on its own blockchain. That concept, right? So the problem with it is these can be tracked. So any money you spend whatsoever is exactly tracked, and it's going to be analyzed with AI, and it's going to be able to, let's say you say something that you shouldn't be saying according to wrongthink, your bank account could just be zero. And right now, that can still happen with centralized banking systems, but it becomes really, really easy to do this with the CBDCs. And the bigger issue is, what if AI is doing the moderation and AI detects that you used some words that you shouldn't have used? You're flagged as a threat. Well, your bank account's frozen. So what happens?
And here's the big difference, guys. Here's the big difference from today using cash and bank accounts with SWIFT. Right now, a block occurs when the government issues a request to a bank. Let's say it's a foreign bank. Hey, foreign bank, we need you to seize these or hold these assets, freeze this account. And then they comply or not comply. So there are humans involved in this. With a CBDC, they can even skip the bank because it's programmed into the smart contract of a CBDC, centralized. They control it. The bank that issues that token or coin or fiat on blockchain can issue the command through their smart contract, and no matter what account, what wallet that is in, it can freeze without even the wallet owner being able to control that or stop it. And they can yank it back or add an expiration date to it, and then it goes away. How do we know this? Because it's happening in China right now. A lot of
Right.
these initial CBDC deployments occurred over there, and they love it. Guess why? Because there's control by the government, 100%. And a lot of their stores now you don't use a credit card. You just your face because you're on their database, and now they release funds from your account or freeze them just on your face when you enter a store. So is
Yeah.
this possible? Guys, this is not conspiracy. This is actually happening now.
Yeah.
And that's the danger with CBDCs.
And my love and thoughts and prayers to people in China who are under that sort of oppression. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, sincerely, we have to make sure that we hold the line so that other countries don't fall into that issue, because
Even the
it's
states,
it's
Fed pay.
just it like this says, this is dystopian. This is sincerely. So let's read about this and get into the topic. So get out of here. No thanks. We're doing a show. Get out of here. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are similar to decentralized cryptocurrencies in the way that they're not, such as Bitcoin, except they centralize power and influence to a single entity.
Yep.
Which means you have a
The
master,
issuer.
and you are subject to him, whose objects may not match yours or mine, or objectives
Mhm.
might not match. Recent months have seen an acceleration in CBDC development in conjunction with numerous political blunders coming to light, including the mishandling of the health crisis. A hostile narrative toward them has emerged. And so here's the other idea too. Like, if people weren't complying, with whatever the regulations might have been communicated to be for like COVID-19, let's say, you know, they could just say, well, you can't spend your money until you comply. And like, what if that gets into some, things contrary to constitutional rights too, which it will, if this is allowed to go any further. So we don't want to codify our bondage, do we? No. No. Because then you need hackers to start doing stuff, and then they're superheroes. You don't want superhero hackers. While CBDCs advocates tout benefits, which is a better financial inclusion and greater efficiency.
Yeah, of
Kelly,
control.
it's great. I love it. I'm sorry. Concerns about their potential threat to personal sovereignty aren't going away, and with good reason. A global network of CBDCs is on the way, according to the Atlantic Council. The majority of countries have either launched or are in process of launching a central bank digital currency,
Yes.
with African countries standing out as the outliers in this case. And,
Yeah, look up Nigeria, how it's going there.
ugh, my heart breaks for these
They
guys,
launched
man. So proponents argue that minimizing the cost of currencies, making cross-border transactions quicker and safer, and if only Bitcoin could do these things too. Oh, wait, it can. And tackling the issue of currency counterfeiting, who cares? Are, like, if you're,
Uh-oh.
am I worried about counterfeiters? Or am I worried about you debasing my currency officially? I think that's the bigger threat. And I'm not advocating for counterfeiting. It's just like, that's the bigger threat, is the
They're
government
using the problems as an excuse to provide more security for you when it's actually control over you,
Yeah.
over your store of value.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Bank of International Systems, or BIS. What's up, BIS? What's up, girl?
Settlements.
Well, it did say settlements. BIS. General Manager Augustine Karsten, what a name, echoed this sentiment last year, saying CBDCs can potentially bring about global financial stability while minimizing associated risks. By the way, let's talk about this part too. You know how it adds global stability? It allows an algorithm to basically print more or reduce the supply in order to accomplish whatever desired outcome is. Now,
Give or take also.
So I don't like that, because here's the problem. If I'm saving my money, right, and let's say I'm on an island and the currency we're using, there's 100 seashells, and these are special seashells, right? They're purple, they have opal kind of in them, and they're large conches, right? And we only have 100 of them. Well, let's say I have 2 of them I've been really saving, and I could do a lot of things with these, you know, I can get many wives with these conches, right? Very valuable. And there's some guy who's like, "I am the distributor of the conches," and he's able just to, like, grab any seashell and paint it that color and put it out into supply whenever he wants. What he's doing is he's able to take my value when I'm saving it and just inflate it out of nowhere. So I don't have any actual value stored up. So if I have 2 out of 100, then that's the value I have in circulation. But if I have 2 out of 5,000 and he's able just to keep increasing the supply, he's robbing value from me, because what's valuable about money is not the actual like dollar bills themselves. It's not the actual units of currency. It's the buying power they hold.
And the trust in that.
And you're just stealing my buying power, well, being like, I'm not stealing anything. And so it really is a form of stealing, though, because you're just removing someone's value. You're playing by different rules that other people are playing by. And that's why Bitcoin is so markedly different. Bitcoin, there's no power user on Bitcoin. Nobody's a super user on Bitcoin. Nobody's, you know, an administrator on Bitcoin. Everyone on Bitcoin is equal, right? And so it really is a level playing field. And there's a lot of imposters out here, like these CBDCs, promising global financial stability, but really
Control.
it is stability if everyone's a slave, right? Is
Yeah,
the idea.
exactly. And oh, you say something we don't like, we're putting an expiration. We're yanking it. You got no hope now.
Yeah. So furthermore, Carson eerily implied only central banks have the right to oversee money systems, not big tech or privacy or private cryptocurrencies. The soul of money belongs neither to big tech nor to an anonymous ledger.
Yeah. Oof.
Wow. Okay. Cool story, bro. In recent weeks, all G7 countries have moved into the development stage of their respective CBDC programs. Mexico revised its rollout date to sometime in 2024, and the digital ruble, which is Russia, is that Russia?
Yeah. Yes.
Ruble.
Right.
I love
Yes.
the ruble. Shout outs to Russians. You know, I see you people, and I'm sorry your government's doing what they're doing. Is operating a test pilot, signaling strong momentum toward a global CBDC network. So the problem with CBDCs, speaking on Fox News recently, investment banker and former U.S. government official Catherine Fitz detailed a scathing account of CBDCs, calling their implementation the last shutting of the gate. Fitz spoke of general ignorance towards the issue, namely, how many are sleepwalking into systems where our assets become the central bank's assets,
Yes.
thus rendering citizens extensions of the state.
Mm.
We don't understand that when this gate closes on us, we will literally be sitting in a system where central banks believe our assets belong to them.
Central control.
Personal sovereignty, I think a lot of people are taking for granted central sovereignty, because I've had a lot of conversations with people who aren't in crypto who I've heard them use these terms of like, well, that won't happen to us. Well, that's just crazy. That couldn't happen in our time. And clearly it expresses a sentiment where, like, even though they say they don't trust the government, they actually do trust the government to some degree. And I don't think you should have to trust. This isn't a matter of whether you do or don't. This is a matter of you shouldn't have to, right? And Bitcoin is agnostic. It does not care pro-government or anti-government. It doesn't care. What it cares about is that you have proof of work on the network and you have, you know, an amount in your ledger, and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm. And you secure it and you release it when you want to release it. No one can take it from you.
Yeah. And you know, let's talk about this too. Let's say in the United States, you pay off your house. You do not have a mortgage. You paid it free and clear. Well, at this point, you still have to pay property taxes, because if you don't pay your property taxes, Jaime, what happens if you buy your house and you don't pay property taxes? What happens?
Gone. House gone.
Yeah, the government will seize your house.
Auction it off to the
And
highest bidder.
so do you actually own your house if that's how this functions? I say you own the concept of your house. You can sell it if you'd like to, and give someone else the right to live there, but you don't own your land. Apparently, you're not honored in that way. You're not a landowner. You don't own the the mineral rights, the water rights. You can't do with it what you want because you're subject to some other ruling authority, right? Even if you're not infringing on others' life, liberty, or property. So, you
Guys,
know,
the
I
sign, yeah.
I just like to hear some of our government officials answer why that is, and I think Bitcoin is markedly different. Like Bitcoin doesn't play by those rules. For example, if you don't, let's say they
Doesn't care if
issued,
you're Russian, Chinese, South African, Guatemalan, doesn't matter, American,
yeah,
Bitcoin will treat you equally.
it's a different system altogether. And yeah, Gundy says there's never blue people on DCTV stream. I don't know what to do. Does that mean there are cops here? I don't know, man. Yeah, you have to agree with Tampa on everything, or she'll lock you down, or lock down your dirty shovel with her wrench.
Tamp don't
It's
play, guys. Tamp don't play.
Tamp's dirty shovel too. I hate to tell you, she's got a Swiss Army knife. Yeah, and yeah, don't need to trust you. Verify.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. And Sam says, "By the powers entrusted to the Blue Wrench, I vow to thine that dirty shovels shall ever prosper on DCTV." That's true. That's if you hold your own keys, you don't play by this globalist rule, right? So once you own your house, you need to petition the state to get your land rights. Yeah, it seems exactly that way, and it's different by state, I'm sure. But
Yes. What does CBDCs really give the government and the central banks? Actually, insight into every single coin released, issued. Dollar bills, they couldn't. Anything paper, they couldn't. This is the answer to their full control, full visibility, full do whatever the hell they want with your value. So you worked your ass off and you're putting $100 bills into your under your mattress. Try to deposit that today without them questioning you, where did this come from? And when you do, and if you don't tell them the right thing, it could raise a flag, even though you honestly worked your butt off for it. So it's it's a scary thing, and the fact that they now know where it came from. Like now they deposit it using the central CBDC. Now they see where it goes every single move that goes out there. Where is your self sovereignty anymore? You're not. You're a product now. You're a sheep to be harvested. Careful,
yeah,
guys.
not good. Under a CBDC system, authorities can potentially control an individual's spending.
Mhm.
Examples include blocking specific purchases or merchants. So this could be used for gun purchases. They could say,
Yep.
well, we don't want people in the state of New York to be able to even buy firearms, even though they have a constitutional right to. And oh, sorry, it was a glitch in our AI, and they can pull that card.
Yeah.
Um,
Or let's say in your state you can't do CBDs or any, marijuana. You go to Colorado where it's legal, and because your bank is over or your wallet is stored elsewhere, and they see this transaction at that vendor, what's going to stop them from, hey, declined? Nope, this New Yorker cannot do this over here. It's like,
well, that being said, most of those shops don't take their cash systems only. So
I know, but that's my
yeah,
point, Brandon.
because
They're
most banks
getting rid
won't.
of cash and
Well, and
implementing
they'll be
CBDCs.
crypto. I'm telling you, that's going to be the thing. But I agreed with you that they have abilities to
Now
tell
they
you how
see.
you can and can't spend your money, which means it's not really your money.
Mhm.
Uh, you're at Chuck E. Cheese. Sorry, buddy. Um, the digital pound to limit transfers, although Fitt's account was largely hypothetical, there are instances found elsewhere that are factual, supporting her points to a significant degree. On February 4th, the Bank of England and UK Treasury released their CBDC roadmap and announced a 4-month long consultation to discover public opinion on the digital pound. According to the Telegraph, the Treasury's initial plans limit users' transfers to a few £1,000s to prevent the possibility of banking collapse resulting from rapid outflows. So they tell you how much of your money you can and can't spend to make sure
Mhm.
there's no bank runs.
Yep.
The Treasury stated that transfer limits encourage adoption while balancing implementation risks. However, it added that these limits could be amended in the future. And I hate this carrot on a stick. I see this on other blockchains too, where they're like Solana, no disrespect, but I see you doing this too, where you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, we're starting off centralized. That's so we can have developer stability, but it's on our roadmap to be decentralized at some point. I don't I have to trust you. I have to
Yep.
trust that you are in good faith and will actually do that in a time frame that I'm expecting to. So I I don't like having to trust other people. Don't trust, verify, right?
Yep.
Trustless
Absolutely.
systems, zero trust architecture. That's how we should be proceeding across the board. So, yeah, Gunny said they already harvested our efforts. We need to get out of the chokeholds, and
Yep.
Bitcoin gives you the ability to. This is so dumb. All you have to do is just dead simple. Is every payday take whatever amount doesn't hurt your wallet and just DCA Bitcoin and hold it. And DCA prevents you from playing yourself and being like, oh, the price is high, oh, the price is low, and
Mhm.
basically getting bear trapped and bull trapped. You should have a different amount of money if you want to do trading that isn't your hodl funds. And this protects you from getting played with your actual long-term value. You can have more freedom to take your time trading if you have a different pocket, right? Because it's not like how you're going to leave legacy to your kids and what have you. But anyways, uh, the social credit system is really the big deal, and this is what we're talking about. If you don't do what's right, let's say, and this is what happened in China. If people weren't complying with whatever the COVID-19 rules were, then they weren't allowed to physically enter parts of the city. They weren't allowed to spend their money.
Yep.
They were just
Even
denied
stores.
they were just denied as an invalid user. They were told to go home, and they were kind of forced to. And so, like, I I don't
We should not let others.
a virus in our own bloodstream. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, polite society requires everyone does have power, right?
Domesticated.
And so yeah, this is doom and gloom for sure. And we shouldn't be playing with it. So how do we fight back since we're short on time here?
Mhm.
Um, we need to buy decentralized private cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. That's how we fight this. We just opt out of that system. We have a better system that we use that we do not give up or die hard with it. And top down action, we use our political system to support anti CBDC representatives. So
Yep.
we already have a handful of representatives in the United States government who are uh, opposing CBDCs, and you don't have to like the rest of their policies. That's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to like everything they say. They're not they're not a god. They're not a football team. You need to see them as just a representative. They're representing the interests of their people, and we should support anyone who is fighting the CBDC thing because it takes away freedom from constitutional rights Americans have. So
Yep.
let's not play these games. Let's make sure people know we do not want this. If you push this out, I'm just going to use a different system. If that means it's really disruptive to my life, I will still do this. Say I won't.
Mhm.
Like, and also the other piece here is as a business owner, you may want to seriously look into how you can start accepting decentralized cryptocurrencies for payment. That's something that Jaime and Tamp and I and Peter Saddington and like our whole group of people, we're working really hard to build businesses that do work in these capacities, that do um, act as places where you can buy and sell things in crypto, decentralized crypto, and actually have a real use case for it, not just speculate. So um, that's how we fight this. We just opt out. We don't have to be. There's no reason whatsoever for us to be violent. There's no reason whatsoever for us to be uncivil. We just exercise our rights properly and make sure that we are not supporting CBDCs. We're supporting decentralized platforms like Bitcoin.
Let the
And so,
market decide, not governments or
yeah,
financial institutions.
yeah. So I know that's super encouraging. Everyone wanted to talk about that fun, lighthearted joke. Um, and we are at the end of our time, but just to end on a lighthearted note, BitBoy is getting dragged into a lawsuit. Ha 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 ha. That's not really a joke. It really happened. Binance
Yeah.
CZ and BitBoy are dragged into a $1 billion lawsuit. So we'll be following this as this develops. I really hope there's nothing serious here. BitBoy shout outs. You certainly put in the time, but I hope you don't get sued.
But he's gotten sued. This is the second lawsuit.
What do I know? It's all
Massive
good.
one.
So Everybody, love you so very much. Thank you for hanging out here on Monday morning. We have way more news to talk about, but we're at the end of our
Yes.
time. And so that's okay. We'll talk about it on Wednesday.
We're
Until
here
later.
for you.
Until later, we love you. Thanks for joining us on Decentralized TV.
See you Wednesday.
Oh no.
Yes, Nemesis, I'm with you.
Shots across the bow. I'm the Data Lord. This is Jaime. And until next time, keep calm and huddle on. On Wednesday, we'll drink about coffee and talk about crypto.
That's right. We'll let you know where Bitcoin is at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's go. Huddle on, baby.
What are we gonna do? I don't know.
Stay decentralized. That's what we're gonna do.
It feels that way to me.
The way. Decentralized. Let's go.
Oh! Have a good day. See you later.
Wednesday. Spinning.
Click a button.